So before you can import the text file from Eagle that you exported, you have to do a little doctoring to it. So here is where you need to place it. Saved as a .txt. So you can see the path up here. CAD file is the folder. So here's the original one. And for this to be accepted by the software, the parentheses in the position column have to be removed. So we can do a Control H, and we're going to find all of these parentheses, replace them with nothing. Do a replace all. You can see they all disappear. And then you would of course do the same for the right side. The orientation column on the far right also needs to be changed. The R, which stands for rotation, needs to be removed. So we can do an R270, search for that, and replace it with just a 270. Click Replace All. And then you would want to do that for all the other rotations and also get rid of the closing parentheses. Now one other thing, a few other things we need to do is verify there's no spaces between anything. So if there was a space in, say, this package library name, then the space delimited and comma delimited file would not import properly. So we need to make sure there are no spaces. And also on the package, there is no C0603K package in the library of the machine. The K stands for a reflow footprint. So we need to get rid of the K on all of these, or at least make all of these a package that the machine recognizes, which is C0603. So here we can get rid of this one. And also do another Control H to do a C0603K, replace with a C0603, and do a replace all. Okay, so we can cancel out of this, and you would want to do the same for the 1210K and anything else that is not recognized. Now you also want to get rid of any through-hole components that you will not be populating, like these jumpers. You can just completely delete those. And up here we have some div out and ground, which are the test points. So anything that's a through hole, you want to delete those out completely, or anything you know you are not going to populate. So down here there's some fiducials. You can import those, or you can do those later. BCO, BCC, BASK, those are all test points. And once everything looks fine, then you're going to want to save it. I'm not going to save this one because I already have the doctored up one. And here is the doctored up one. I will open that one up, and you can see there's no parentheses, opening or closing, no R's on the orientation. All the libraries, none of them have spaces. The packages are all packages that the machine will recognize. Some of these other ones, not sure if these will get recognized or not. We'll see what happens when they get imported. The fiducial must be called ref1 or ref2 for the machine to to recognize. Okay, so here we are doing the CAD import from the Eagle file that we just created. And the first thing you want to do is open up UCAD here. And then you want to open up your file that you've just exported. Now this Eagle export inch is a setup file that was previously created if you did your board layout in inches. You do not ever want to hit this red X over here. It will delete the setup file and you'll have to do it all over again. So here down in OpenCAD, you want to open up the text file. And then here is the 2901 CAD data from the file. Then the conversion button is ungrade, and you can just click conversion after we have modified it. Okay, and here is the data that was imported. You can see down here these two spots, the red and the green, those are fiducials, or it thinks it's the reference points. And over here, they are C2 and C3. Now those need to be changed to what they actually are, which is U15. U16. So now you can see them on the board on each corner. So you want to look at this layout and then look at your component layout of your board file from Eagle and make sure it looks appropriate. Then click Next. So here, if you forgot to take out certain components that are through-hole components or you don't want to place, you can skip them here in this column up here. But in order to do that, you need to select the checkbox and then select up here the component. So you want to scroll down all through these and verify that they're all going to be correct. And I do not want to place the fiducials. And then click Next. So here's the component window, and the library, as you can see, is the library of what the machine calls that package. The feeder here must be changed to represent how you're going to put it in the machine. It's going to be in a tray, then you must select tray. This will not be easy to fix later if you don't get this right this time. So pretty much you will be using tray a lot here, or possibly the AF08, which is the 8mm feeder, and some of these larger ones. So these are all trays for this part, but I'll skip that for now. In the library, the ones that are not populated, like this 10 microfarad, this is about a 1210 size capacitor. And I need to make a library for that still. And some of these other ones will not be getting placed also. So that's why they're not there. These will have to be manually adjusted during the setup in Autotronics. When you're satisfied with everything, you can click Next. And this is just complaining about the libraries are not selected in these blank fields. And here you can just click Yes again. So here they are, and you can just look over this once again to make sure everything looks good. So here also is the feeder location. So right now, none of these are in a feeder location. So if you click Optimize, do an automatic optimization. And now the machine has decided where to put all the components. The Q locations are the tray, and the D locations are the automatic feeders. And you can click Next when you're done. And so here is the file where you save it, and I am just going to change the name of it, since I already have the proper one in there. And then click Save once you're done. It is a good idea to have your reference points, point 1 and point 2, called out here of what they are for later reference, and then save. And then you can exit the software. So once you've created your CAD data or your Centroid data, you need to take it from UCAD, the file you just created, which was an Autotronics file, that was created. Open up Autotronics, and of course you're going to need to home the machine as you did before. And you do not want to load the previous pick and place file. You want to go and find the file that you just created, and doesn't have any dispense data, so okay, that's fine. Doesn't have any vision data, and of course it doesn't. Click OK. Load all feeders at default locations. You want to click No on that. Record is out of range. That's fine. You can ignore that. And EEE is not found. That's common. Ignore that. So the first thing we want to do is to teach the board, find out where it is. So we do want to still do a learn PCB, and use board offset points in this case, 2 reference points. Change this to enable. This is only one board. This is not a matrix right now. And we're doing this as if we did it the other way. There's no difference in this procedure from the CAD import to just teaching a board. We want to do an auto height detect. And we need to find the board. And click OK. And then you can teach this if you want to, but we're going to click OK. And then set up, now you need to learn the reference points. So since there's no fiducials on this board, this is a single board, that's grayed out, and there's only one board here, and we're going to learn the reference points. And we do want to auto learn these. So these defaults are fine, you can change them if you want. So what we got to do is find the first reference point that we had loaded in the CAD data, and that is up here. And we want to clean this image up a bit. There we go. Center. Found it. Click OK. And now it'll automatically go to where it thinks the next one is, which it found it exactly. And this is because the CAD data was imported, and we also imported the reference marks, or Ref 1 and Ref 2, for the fiducials. And this is fine. We just need to adjust the level of the contrast and the brightness. And there we go. Click OK when you're done. We can learn the horizontal line if we had two components that were horizontal from each other. On this board, we don't have any that we specifically programmed to be horizontal, so there's no sense in learning the horizontal line. Click Exit. And then we want to look at the place records. So yes, we can relearn the reference points. And here's all of the data that was imported from that file. You can go ahead and delete the fiducials. You're not going to be placing those. And then go up to the top, C2, and do a learn by camera. Everything is exactly where it should be. This play pause button down here will index to the next record. And you can go through every single one of these and look at them. We're going to go ahead and click OK. And so some of these, this is where it loaded up the feeders. And if they're not in the same location, that's fine. But what was important is if you wanted them to be on the tray or in the strip feeder, the strip or the tape, the double-sided tape holder. So here, this chip right here, I know, is actually in a tray. So that I'm going to have to change. This transformer is in a tray. It's on the double-sided tape holder. That I'm going to have to change. So we're going to click OK. We can't select them from there. We need to teach it where it's supposed to pick it from. So this 22 microfarad is also on a tray. So what we do is, this one didn't have a library, so that's what we need to assign a library name. And this is a 1210 or a 1206. So here we go, 1210. Select, there it is. Now this is the type of feeder it thinks it is. Actually, we can't do that. We need to delete this one and put it here in the tray feeder. So here we would choose the 1206 or 1210, and we can call it 22 microfarad. Then we'd have to teach where it is, where to pick it up. So now we have two 22 microfarads, and this one we cannot delete unless it was deleted from the place file. The place file is using this, so we can't delete this. Now we have an issue. We need to make sure that we pick the right one from in our place file. That's why choosing what type of pickup location during the CAD import of UCAD is important. It doesn't have to be the specific feeder location, but you do have to define whether it's an AF, it can be any of these AFs, or if it's a tray, then it would be in this column. So same with if this this chip, this IC, was not in the CAD data that was imported, but I know that this one is a QFP 28 QFN EP. That's fine, I associate it to that, but it's saying it's going to come out of a feeder. That is not going to happen no matter what feeder you choose. It needs to be in the tray. So that's why it needs to be important to put it in the CAD file. So that's pretty much it. Everything else is just the same as if you taught the board step by step.